I spent over $3,000 promoting a Spotify playlist using Facebook ads, and in this video I'm going to walk you through all the stats and talk about if it was worth it or if it made sense. So first of all, if I share my screen here, this is the ad campaign. It's a cyberpunk synthwave playlist. Looks like this. We promoted it using the typical ways you would expect, you know, with the hundreds of tutorials I have on my channel. I'll link one here. Basically just using a Facebook ad, Spotify conversion campaign to a landing page. In this case, Feature FM, but this is the ad campaign, and I'm going to walk you through it. So first I want to talk about how campaigns like this work. We are sending people to a landing page, in this case, Feature FM, and when they click this button to go over to Spotify, the page will fire a conversion event to Facebook, or Meta, which is how Meta knows how many conversions actually occurred. In this case, there were 23,000 conversions. If I go inside of the ad, or the campaign rather, you can see that I have a couple different audiences here. I'll talk about those in a moment. And in this case, I actually only have one ad. Usually I would recommend having way more than one ad, or at least a few, but we had one video, and this is what the video looked like in this case. There is music playing, but it's quite a simple ad, right? And the reason why I chose this video is because it's a cyberpunk synthwave playlist. So I made this artwork using Midjourney, just some AI generation artwork. The video was from, I think, Storyblocks or ArtGrid, and then I just put it into Premiere Pro and had the artwork animate over that stock footage that someone else made and put this text on it. And that's the whole ad. Now, typically I would test different parts of the song and stuff, but originally I intended to do that. And then I published this ad by itself because I was worried it might get rejected by Facebook just because this person looks a little scary. And then it just did so well that I didn't bother publishing the other ad creatives. So that's the scoop. When people see this ad, they click on the button that says listen now, and then they get taken to this page that I already showed you. So let's crunch some numbers first, right? So we have this campaign for $3,200, and we have this playlist with 14,000 followers. So the way we would do this math is, I'll just break out my little calculator here. We spent about $3,200, and we got 14,000 saves. So that's about 23 cents. I'm rounding up and down and a little bit in place, but we got about 23 cents per follower, which is actually great. A lot of people don't know what to expect. Overall, I would say anything under 40 cents a follower is solid. Under 30 cents a follower is like amazing. So this is quite a good campaign. Now, I didn't mean to spend $3,000 on this. This is kind of an aside. I was running this campaign for a long time at just a couple dollars a day. Like it's literally been running for years, I think. If I click view charts, it's been running since October 2022. So it's literally been over 2 years. And I just want to point out, you know, sometimes these tiny campaigns, they add up to a lot of money over a longer duration, right? Like it was very much front loaded for a couple bucks, $10 a day at the start, and then $7, and then $5, and then it was sat down at $3 or $2 for a very long time. $3, it seems like, for most of the history. Now I finally turned it off, not because it wasn't working anymore, but because this playlist, I'm not really releasing music under my Andrew Southworth name anymore. I'm focusing on my metal bands like Ever Waking Moment and Murder Night. So because this doesn't really make as much sense for me anymore, I decided to stop this playlist campaign. But this is the playlist, right? So we made the visuals. We're showing people the visuals. They click on the link, they go to the landing page, and they come over here and they follow. But they don't just follow, they also stream. So if I go over to Spotify, I'm inside of my Andrew Southworth Spotify for Artists. And down here, listener, I'm looking at the last 12 months, by the way. We see that we got 6,000 listeners and 36,000 streams. So that's an average of 6 streams per listener. I can open up individual songs and you can see people actually get pretty damn far in these playlists. Like we get 9,000 streams of the first song and 1,100 streams down in Neutron. But if I pull up the playlist and we look for Neutron, here we go. Neutron is track number 51. So even at track number 51 in the playlist, like 1/9 of the people are making it to at least track number 51, which is insane. So people do listen to these playlists for quite a long duration, but essentially we're hooking people in with the playlist, and then they just keep listening. And there's a myriad of reasons why you would do this. One, it can actually get you a pretty damn good cost per conversion. 14 cents is amazing for this, right? Now we're not running this to like tier 1 countries. We're running tier 1, tier 2. So if I open up our country list, you can see what countries actually spent money. This campaign was run during the whole iOS 14 era. Don't worry if you don't know what that means, but basically it means we don't see results by country because this campaign's so old. But looking at the budget of 3,200, we can look at how much budget each country spent. So about a quarter of our budget went to Brazil. India got 10%, 15% of our budget. We did try a little bit of India here. Mexico got a quarter. So Mexico and Brazil by far the most. And then the rest is kind of evenly scattered along a lot of countries. Like USA was actually $200, but it was actually quite good, I believe, in terms of cost per result. Because I do have a way to check to a degree. Like in Feature FM, we can go look at how many conversions happened in the United States, which is 1,900. We only spent $200. So if I do $200 divided by 1,900, it was actually 11 cents a conversion in the United States, which is amazing. You don't normally get that with an individual song, but if you have a playlist that is targeted to the right people, it's an easier sell. Because instead of saying like, hey, check out my song, you're like, hey, check out this playlist that I've carefully curated to align with this thing that you care a lot about. In this case, it's cyberpunk synthwave, but this could easily be, hip hop music for the gym, folk music for road trips, right, etc. There's a curated list of songs that fit a theme, a mood, an activity, a lifestyle, something like that. They're an easier sell than an individual song. Now, in this case, interesting. Typically, people will use their own music, which is normally what I do with the playlist. But I didn't necessarily have the best cyberpunk synthwave song. What I did have is a license to Artlist, which is not a sponsor or an affiliate, but they're just a stock music site. And so I got an account and I found this song that was like perfect for the playlist. I bought a license to use their platform, which means I can use this song commercially in advertising. So this is not my song, but I got the rights to use it in advertising, and that means I could use it in my ad. So the video that people are seeing is actually not using my song. It is using this Nova 2050 artist song, who I don't know this guy. So he's probably, I don't know if he's seeing this playlist high up. It's actually, he has a bunch of other playlists that are higher, but he must have seen this playlist at some point and been like, oh, I'm getting a lot of streams from this. It's like his number 7 biggest playlist, and I'm not even running ads on it anymore. So it's kind of fun. So that's the campaign itself, but I want to talk about a few metrics from the campaign. We already talked about the cost per follower, right? We had $3,200 and then 1,400 followers on the playlist. So that came to, just as a reminder, 23 cents per follower. But there's a few other metrics that can be important here. One, what is the ratio of conversions to followers? Here we have 23,000 conversions. I'd like to see about 50% of them turn into followers. So in this case, the total number of conversions was 23,000 according to Facebook. In reality, it's a little bit higher. It's actually 30,000. So the reason is Facebook doesn't track every single conversion. The number you get in your landing page is real. The number you get on Facebook is a good approximation, but it is just an approximation. So what we can do is we can get our 14,000 followers divided by the 30,000 overall conversions, and that's a 47%, and multiply it by 100, 47% follow rate. So 47% of the people that click on the ad actually end up following the playlist. And at a cost of about 23 cents per follower, which is quite good. I like to see around 50%. We got 47. I like to see under 40 cents cost per follower. We have 23. Now, cost per stream is something that's valuable to know. In this case, a little bit of that information is lost to time because Spotify updated their system where you can't really look at lifetime streams per playlist anymore. You used to be able to look at basically just playlist data from back to 2015. Now you can only look the last 12 months. So we can't really see all of the data, which is unfortunate because I would assume most of the data was from more than 12 months. Remember, it's a 2-year-old campaign. And so, you could approximate some numbers from that. And one argument could be made that, okay, you got 100,000 streams and you paid $3,000. You only made back 300 and you spent 3,000. That is true in this case, at least as far as I know. Like, there's no way this playlist actually got 1 million. And there's a few counter arguments to that. Well, I'm not really running this playlist to make money. If I was, this would be a completely different looking playlist. I was running this playlist for 2 reasons. One, I am a curator And back then I was actually active on SubmitHub, Groover, Playlist Push. So I was actually, artists would send me their songs and I would listen to them and consider them for the playlist. But that was one revenue source for this playlist. Two, by having all these artists in here, I'm able to kind of algorithmically associate certain things together, certain artists. And that was another purpose of this, not just for my music, but also for some artists on my label we were squeezing in here as well, and some friends' music too. But by having all the music on the playlist, you're able to kind of associate those artists' music together. If I were to do this nowadays, I would have done this completely differently. I would have used more popular artists, and if I was trying to make money, this playlist would have a lot more of my own music in it and a lot less music by other people in it. But that's the argument to be made for that point. Like, for example, if we take a look at this alternative metal playlist, which is a new playlist I'm running, my band is Every Waking Moment here, and what I'm doing here is I'm associating it with all these other bands that I feel like are good fits. So, Bad Omens, Silent Planet, Sleep Theory, Evans Blue, Breaking Benjamin, The Veer Union, Memphis Mayfire, Our Waking Hour, North of Never, Architects, House of Protection, Spirit Box, Falling in Reverse. Like, these are all bands that I think I would want people to listen to these bands to get my music algorithmically recommended to them. And this is one application of this playlist. Now, another thing in this playlist is my music's scattered a little more tightly in here. So I have song number 2, song number 5, song number 8, song number 12. And there's different ratios you can do here. Like, some people will make every single song in their playlist their music. And if you're doing something like sleep music or lo-fi, which I've done it for both of those, with those campaigns, you can actually make an immediate profit in the campaign. Like, we're not even talking about a long-term thing. We're talking about, like, week to week making a profit because the songs are short. They're super simple. There's a ton of them, and people are listening to the playlist for 8 hours. So that's like the kind of economics of a sleep playlist. But it's very different from like an algorithmic association playlist. Now, if you're wondering how you can do this for your own playlist, I have a few options for you. 1, I do have a course. 2, I have consulting. And 3, I do have an ad agency. So depending on if you want to learn how to do it yourself, you want someone to hold your hand and walk you through it on a call, or you just want to outsource the entire thing to another company, all those links are down below. If you're looking for a free option, you can check out this video right here and get your feet wet and see what you can learn on your own. And then if you decide like, hey, this isn't for me, you can click the link down below to check out my agency services, or hop in a call or check out my course if that's more up your alley. But anyways, I hope you found this helpful and interesting. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.